If you have attached your modules to racks or rack clusters, it's possible to keep that in the addressing. And in this section, you will learn how to do it.
Every display company has a different scheme for arranging its racks, but most companies arrange their racks in groups. We call that clusters in Finale 3D terminology. Whenever rack snaps together in Finale, we are having a cluster. Generally, companies do not want E-match wires extending between groups of racks, which imposes constraints on the firing system addresses. Consider this example of a rack layout where we want to use this rack layout with 16-pin Pyrodigital field modules, along with wooden racks with 5 tubes each, nailed together in clusters of 3 racks housing 15 tubes per cluster. Now imagine that we have attached a single field module to each cluster. If we now address the show without any constraints, we get a result like this. The problem is here, that we now have to wire a cable from a cluster to another cluster. For ease of setup, we decide to let 1 pin per module go unused, allowing the other 15 pins to match up with the 15 tubes in the rack assembly to which the module is attached. Now we had to find a constraint that will take care of our decision, to use 1 module for a cluster. If we have a look at the constraint section in the addressing dialog, we will see that rack cluster is available as setting. So why not try it? You see, the result is exactly what we want. It is also possible to add some single rack that were now also treated as clusters. So, let's add 23" shells to our show. Now create a rack for this 3" shells that is 1 row with 10 tubes. Re-rack the show without destroying the existing rack layout. To do so, select racks. Add racks for unracked events, keep existing racks. Break apart the new 3" rack cluster. Now, readdress the show. The single racks are also treated a cluster. Each rack has a own module assigned. Depending on the size of the rack, or if a module is already attached to a rack, you can decide if it is necessary to create a cluster or not to get a clean setup when using this constraint.